Hello everyone, this is Sean, and this is model number 24, the Magnum PI Ferrari, the original 1982 kit that I bought from eBay. It was probably my very first eBay purchase, actually. You can see a better box of the car here. Now, yes, you notice that the roof is on the car in that box. That'll be something that will come up later. And there's the almost like a light sand from folk art that I intended to use for the interior. And of course, because I lived almost like a duplex with an apartment, a yard, I could spray in the big bucket everything. Now that is the plastic. That's the red plastic that the car came in. And I don't know if you noticed, but there was a part of the car where they had already mounted the engine to the chassis. You'll see that in later pictures. And see how the roof is on the car now? Well, don't worry. I found a way, thanks to a YouTube video, to take care of that so that I could actually make it look like it did in the show. And here was my way to paint the wheel wells. Just mount them on toothpicks on that painted stand and off you go. Now they're primered white, like the car itself. And then right away, I started working on cutting the roof. So I looked at screenshots of the video, put down tape to draw a nice solid line, or even on the inside. Make the tape thickest at the point where I cut it so I wouldn't cut it badly. And that's, there we go, see? I went in from the side with my snippers, and then I sawed away at it with, I think it was a cheese or steak knife, actually. And you can see here how it worked. And I had to smooth down the rough edges, of course. You can still see the curve on the front window frame, but now it is a convertible, exactly as it should be. Well, yeah, not a convertible, but you know what I mean. And there's the wheel wells. The red around the rim is still unpainted. I wanted to do that for sure, to make sure it would fit in the wheels, fit the tires on. There's the engine already mounted to the chassis. Now I had to detail paint the engine, of course. You saw how it looked in the very first image of the video. And now you're to, put the wheels on, do the dashboard with the Krylon chrome pen. That's where the silver comes from. And then, of course, the original 1982 instructions, but I just went page by page with the car as I went, and there's the chassis and everything in the box. Now, I believe that's because I probably was painting them, but before I did that, I did the seats in the, probably the Tamiya light sand, the same as I used for the Knight Rider car. There's the chassis, underside painted. I covered up with tape where the wheels would go because I didn't want any paint to get in there and prevent me from being able to install them correctly. Now, not all the pictures are right side up. That one is. You see how I color code that. I showed you that on episode 2 of Brian's Eclipse. See? Painting away there. That's good. So, of course, like always, I get pictures of all 4 sides of the car. But this one, as you'll see, you already saw in episode 2. I'll link to it on the end screen of this video, if I can, or in the info card. I had already done some video clips for work done on this car. This is just the pictures of the build. Now, we're at model number 24. Yeah, you can see how I had to tape everything just so I could spray paint the proper black lines, I believe. Or the light sand on the interior upper roof. Got to do that as well. It's a lot smoother than trying to paint it. Although the interior of kit, I did paint the whole interior. I just painted it with a couple of coats so you wouldn't see the paint marks, brush strokes. See? I left everything. There's the cheese knife I used. Just that. And you know what? It actually worked. I got the black stripes done. I got that section done. I did the black stripes manually, actually. But I got that done so that I wouldn't get it all over the car. And you know what? It worked because it was only primer. It was only primer at this stage. It was not actual paint. And there's the back window of the car masked off, so I could do the black trim in the grill vents. And I think the next, there's the steering wheel. So there was some silver on the steering wheel. I did that. And as you see, I didn't get full coverage with the primer. You can still see a bit of the red plastic. It gives us an almost pinkish tint. But you see that recessed middle line. Unlike the DeLorean, it made it a lot easier to get the black in there. Oh, there you go, the upper section. See, that was my first step. But I masked off the wheels and everything. Now, I know it wasn't as smooth as it should be, but remember, I used very thin pinstripe Tamiya tape when it became time to spray the car again with the red base color, so that the black would stay only in the recesses, and we'll see in later pictures how I did. Now, of course, what I also did is I did the black trim on the windshield frame and the upper part of the doors and everything. So just like Lou Del Mesa, whose videos I had discovered that year, this is 2020 by the way, you do the detail painting first. Once you're at the primer stage, it's a lot easier to mask off a smaller amount of the car when it's time for the base color than to do it in reverse. So I followed his advice. I used my thinnest brush, and I went along that side of the car, the right side, which I think actually turned out better than the left side. And you can see the bottom of the chassis here with the silver. Now that's from the engine being mounted, which I'm very surprised that it was able to travel that way, excuse me, in its box without it falling off. So it was obviously mounted in there very securely from the whoever had partially built the car, but then they didn't continue with it. Now, I'd started building model cars with number 9. That was the 32 scale Herbie. You can see my entire model building table there. You can see the parts that have been given the black trim and everything, and the red. Now, there's the candy apple red from Folkart, which I used to detail paint some parts. It didn't get everything. I figured that was the best thing to do. And of course, there I am spray painting the red on some small parts. And the instructions again. So you see step 38. So I don't know, that's not yet the installation of the wheels, is it? And I know not every picture got taken in the proper landscape mode. Some of them are sideways, but you can get the general idea. There you go. There's the first wheel installed in the chassis, and that's how you keep it sideways with the 2 Tamiya cement bottles. See, there you go. The hood and the back loosely installed on the car, so that you don't, you have a guide to follow. Now you see a little bit near the bottom of the black there, what I had to touch up. That's the point of the candy lime red, and I think that was the first attempt at touching up. So that was my first ever masking off of anything. I think it worked out pretty well. And here you go. You see most of the wheels on the chassis. There's just one more to put on, like so. Well, that's not on yet, but it will. See, I went back to steps 11 and 12 to put on the wheels. And then that's how you protect the interior of the car without damaging the primer. You just tape from the inside. Because now we're getting the car ready to get its second white coat of primer. Now you're going to see some pictures of what the car looks like. See, there's the white primer. Now the interior should still be protected with the Tamiya light sand that I put on it. And of course, I always get the pictures from all 4 angles when I do the priming and everything. I mean, this was the very first car that I did a model build video on, but it was only video clip excerpts. I never thought I'd actually be doing videos until the next summer, so about 7 months later. But it's a good thing you took so many videos. Now that's gray primer. See how it's not as white? That is gray primer. Now the reason for that, you put down the white primer first. You put the gray primer down second to get more complete coverage. But also, it gives the red base color a stronger coat, a richer tone. It's not as candy red as the hood and the back part, trunk lid, but it's also not as dull red as if you had just gray primer. That's another YouTube trick I learned while researching this build. So I used other model car YouTubers like HBI Guys Workshop. Who else? Right On Replicas, of course. That's where I usually got a lot of the color codes for my model cars I do have. Of course, the engine's mounted to the chassis there. Now all 4 wheels are in place. You see the bits of the Star Trek shelf in the background. You see the Magnum PI box above the chassis in the far background there. Now these are the hood. These are the hood hinges. There's the car mounted on the stand, probably for painting again. You just stuff the same tape into the inside once again, like I did before. And yes, I know, that's why I took so many pictures. I might have to do for future videos, because there's 5 or 6 left until you get to Model 31, which is the Excelsior, which is the first one I did build videos from the beginning. I might have to trim some of the pictures down so you don't have so many. I still have that very same water bottle, by the way. I mean, water dish at the top left corner there. There's the chassis. That is the dashboard and steering wheel installed in the interior. There's the red. And you see, I had carefully masked off the black, and it stayed in place. Or maybe I didn't even mask it off, but it stayed in place regardless. And it worked. Now, that's good. That's a nice rich red. It's not as candy bright red as the other one, but it's not as dull as if it would be gray primer alone. So, that's good. Now, looks like I forgot to mask off those side windows, which I'd done black, what would have been back windows. There's the interior mounted to the chassis. Good. That's good. Here are the license plate and probably dashboard decals. There you go. You see that? You see how the hood, particularly, is lighter than the car? Now, that's not a very good picture. That's dull light there. That doesn't help. But that was taken on the ledge by my front door. And it shows all 4 sides. You can see a bit of the kitchen there. I expanded to the dining room table. There you go. There's the contrast. You see how dull the body of the car is compared to the hood. So that meant I had to do some paint testing. Now you had the empty sprues that the car parts had come from. But first, I had to mask off the hood and the trunk lid before I primered them gray. This time I used the fine Tamiya tape. And then I field tested it. Gray primer, white primer on the red parts, because you wanted to know. And of course the red has been put down, but you had a gray primer under it, you had a white primer under it, one side versus the other. You tried to compare the 2 of them against the instructions. And then you had to put a white primer on top again, because you remembered that's how you'd done the car. And then you put the red base coat on those parts, and now you get a slightly deeper red, and the black has been protected. That's good. So yes, they had a few coats of paint on it while I figured out the paint scheme, and there's the model building station. There's the Tamiya red, just in case you need it for touch-ups. There's the Folk Art black, in case you needed that for touch-ups. And now we take a look at the hood and the trunk lid installed in the car, and we see that it matches. So, it worked. I remembered the formula, fortunately, and it worked. And of course you get the picture of the car from all four sides. Once again, a distance shot and then a close-up shot on the instructions, of course. There's a close-up shot of the hood versus the car body, and the shade of red looks virtually identical. As close as you could get to Italian red. I think there was actually a Tamiya color called Italian red, and Ferrari's an Italian car, so it all made sense there. Now don't worry about the black on the where the headlamps would come up with that bar that rotates them, because you see they're missing from that picture, so that's good. And there's the bottom of the car now. Don't know why that section is completely black. Must be the back hood installed. Wonder if that's... Oh, that's not the bad dashboard. Those are the bumpers with their proper tail lights and headlights and everything. Oh, even windshield wipers. Do you see that? Right above step 32, windshield wipers. This is almost a level 3 or level 4 car, so quite a surprise Christmas present for my mom that Christmas. Because Magnum PI had been her favorite show. She would turn the opening credit music up for me when I was a kid, especially in Aurelia. So that's how I became aware of it. And at the time, I'd been watching YouTubers, and I'd seen, oh yes, the rich YouTubers, they give their parents a 1-to-1 scale of their favorite cars. Well, I did not have, not a rich YouTuber, didn't have that money, but I said, well, I could build them the model car. That should mean a lot to them, so that's what I did. And, you know, it's great for a kit that was nearly 40 years old even then. The hood fit nicely. There's the back chassis again. Now, there are the rotating pieces, again with the same formula, that are supposed to rotate under the front hood so that the headlights can come up. Yeah. Now, I had started working on it, but then I turned my attention to the back tail lights and everything. It seemed to be a better choice. Oh, yeah, headlights, tail lights, there they are. They're rimmed in black. Yep. I made up my own license plate. Robin 1 in the Ontario white background with the blue typing. There's the turntable that's supposed to be able to turn the headlights and make it work. And there it is, painted the proper red, so that's good. Then you have the four parts for the center of the wheels, reflectors and such. So I guess you're back up to step 36 or something. Ah, okay, step 37. All right, now you're getting somewhere in the instructions. Helps to keep a visual record of where you are in the build. All right. And you see, you experimented with the license plates, sizes, and test fitting and everything. And then I realized eventually, oh, wait a minute. It's from Hawaii. You got to approximate the Hawaiian symbol. That's what I did behind there. So I think it worked out quite well. Now, there's the car. It's nearly finished. The chassis has been installed to the body. That's good. It's nearly finished. Don't mind that. That's a snowplow in the background. We got a big snowstorm here. Silver on the back windows, not black. So that turned out quite well. Now, what I had to do, and I don't think this was covered on any video, so I'm going to tell you now. What I had to do is I had to take the rotating... I stuck the headlight things in there. Yes, I did. I tried to get it to turn. It didn't work. So I basically had to cut out a sticker that was the same size as those headlight things and drag it up into place, knowing it would remain stuck with the sticker. You see that? And then slowly paint the sticker with that candy lime red from folk art so that it would look as close to the body color of the car as possible and make it look like they were actually the headlight covers. Because I couldn't think of anything else to do. I had to improvise. And now you see pictures of the mostly complete car with the mirrors installed and everything, so hopefully it turned out all right. I mean, it's not perfect, but I did the best I could. And fortunately, no other car I built had this kind of thing, although, as you'll see with the Remington Steel Auburn, well, you saw it when I built it, I had to move the position of the license plate into the middle of the front grille instead. But there is the license plate installed on the car. Now, I don't know if it's a little bigger than the spot for it or not. And I even had to improvise on one of the, you see the left rear there? Wheel? I had to improvise with my finest Sharpie the writing on the wheel to make it approximate the wheel central decal. But I think it turned out quite well, and I did some of the reflectors and everything else. I got them in place. Don't worry, there'll be beauty shots at the end of this video, which is barely a minute away now. Thank you for everyone who stuck around till the end of the video. Nearly 23 minutes long. Hopefully not every other model car video will be this long, unless you like it. No, it's so interesting. The car in front of a Star Trek model. That's going to be the thumbnail. It's interesting. That's a good thumbnail. Maybe I just didn't have any pictures taken of it against the white barrier of near my front door. Ah, yeah, I remember. That comes up for a future model build. Well, future as far as your point of view. I already built it years ago, but I'm catching up on old model build slideshows now. So there's the box, there's the completed car, which fit nicely in its box again. There it is after Mom opened it, right near her chair. So thank you for watching this video on the model number 24, the Magnum PI car, and we'll see you here next time. Bye-bye.